Yo, what's up? I'm back, and this time is the long-awaited Defender Gear video I wanted to make. Firstly, I just put that clip at the beginning because, as you could see, as someone who decided to test this myself, because it's easy for people to just talk about this and act like they use it. Most people who talked about this gear and had their opinions, most of them probably didn't even touch it. I wanted to talk about it, but obviously I also needed the experience. And just for your information, this is my first time using the weapon Insect Wave. Decided to try something new. I was thinking Insect Wave or Switch Axe, but I'm already pretty good at Switch Axe, so I know how to play it. I wanted a fresh experience, to kind of try to emulate the most I could as a new player. Of course I'm not, but you know. And I put that clip because even while trying out the weapon for the first time, I did have a pretty decent time, all things considered. And that goes to show the part of the gear, which is what we're discussing today. Because I'm pretty sure everyone knows it's broken. The issue is how broken. It's a bit nuanced in my opinion. But firstly, I don't understand why they only added this now. It doesn't make sense to me. Why didn't this drop when the PC version of Rise dropped as well? That would have been perfect, because a lot of people who decided to double dip would just be able to use Defender gear until high rank. It would pretty much be a skip that I'm pretty sure a lot of people would have appreciated. It's not like Village is that difficult or low ranking in general, so having to go through everything and craft everything could be a bit boring. I like that, honestly. But some people just wanted to get through the game as quickly as possible to go to the Switch version to kind of be similar, and I don't know, I don't see a point of dropping this 1 month after. It's nonsensical in my opinion, because I'm pretty sure they already had this in mind, so in either case, it dropped at that time. No, there's really no point in arguing if it should have been dropped before or after. Now, after playing the entirety of low rank with both the black belt armor and defender weapons, they're broken, honestly. They're not world broken, those are ridiculous. These are just for low rank and beginning of high rank, I'd say, but they're pretty broken. The thing is, I don't find Village or the hub or the lone rank hub to be difficult. They're already super easy, so to me it takes away the experience a bit, because honestly Monster Hunter is all about the crafting of gear and weapons and farming for that gem so you can upgrade your weapon, and this really takes away the element. But I do see the positives, and I guess I'll start by the positives. First thing, people who already played and they're trying to make a new save file. For example, if I want to learn a new weapon, I prefer to make a new save file, because I think it's the best way to learn a weapon, because you go through the motions. You start at the beginning, everything's easy, and then you start seeing monsters doing combos or having trickier attacks to dodge, so you kind of have to learn how to dodge with the weapon. It just takes you on a ride to which you can learn bit by bit. I think that's a better way to learn than just being dropped into Apex Inaugural Emergency with a new weapon and you get slapped in 3 minutes. Some monster speed runs you. That doesn't really help you learn the weapon. So personally, that's how I prefer, and having this kind of gear is helpful, because you don't have to waste time crafting. You can just equip the gear and start playing, because you're not trying to craft 10 different weapons. You just want to feel the weapon itself, the combat itself. It's also good if you're starting a save file, I don't know, to play with a friend. That's also another option, I'd say. If you already played the game, you're playing with a friend. I mean, but even then the gear's broken, so you'd make your friend's life way easier, especially if he's a newbie. but still, it can still be used to help a friend and have fun without having to go through the entire process of crafting gear. Especially if you're using elemental weapons or something, it becomes a bit annoying. And even for newer players, I think the biggest appeal of this gear for a newer player is to kind of ease you a bit into the combat, because even though crafting is such a big part of the game, you only get materials through crafting. And what does this mean? If you don't like the combat, then you won't like the game. And the gear just allows you to play without any concerns, without having the need to craft. And if the combat pulls you enough, then you're like, okay, I like the game, so I guess I'll take this off and start the grind seriously. I'll start playing the game seriously now. So it's even good as kind of a test drive for new players to see if they like the game. And off the top of my head, those are the positives. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm not really recalling anything else, but as I said before, it's still broken, and I think the negatives outweigh the positives. Well, it's good to have this gear for players to get more into the combat. I think that it fails to teach a lot of stuff, like elemental damage. You have no idea what that is because you're just using raw. Mixing skills, understanding what skills do, understanding why a roar from a monster stuns you. The black belt armor just kind of takes that away. Your damage is also super inflated, so you'll be getting a lot more topples. So, while I do think that a new player can use this to see if they like the game, I do think that long term they will stop learning as much, or they won't learn anything, is what I mean. And then they get into high rank, they get crimped when their broken gear doesn't carry them anymore. They call the game garbage and they quit. The gears should be, for example, the black belt armor set should have like half the defense or 20 defense something, so you'd still have to actually learn the game and start crafting in low rank, because low rank is still forgiving. So I'm more confident that if this was up until, I don't know, 70% of low rank, it would be much better. So you can actually start getting into the game while it's still easy, but you already have some of the fundamentals down, so you're good to go, instead of getting into high rank and you get smashed by a great Izuchi. And the same with the weapons. I think they're too strong. You can just topple everything, you do ridiculous damage. You might not even notice it because you're not used to low rank damage, but the damage is so big for low rank. I mean, 150 raw with a ton of green and attack plus 4 is ridiculous, honestly. So in this circumstance, well, it really takes away the feeling of the player of getting to understand stuff. Something else that the gear takes away is just the feeling of difficulty, and you will think the game is easy, and yes, Rise is the easiest game of the franchise. Okay, everyone knows that, but that's not the point here. If you're a newer player, you'll find the game harder, but with this gear, it's so forgiving. You can see on screen I'm taking hits that I shouldn't, and they barely damage me. I barely had to drink potions for most of low rank, especially because I was using this set for a bit, then I stopped, but I was using the normal King Sect, so whenever I got an extract, I would recover HP, so I literally didn't have to heal at all, because the damage was so minuscule that I just extracted once and I was good to go. And this doesn't teach players how to dodge. This doesn't teach players how to correctly hit the monster and hit some values. It doesn't really teach that, because you can still just spam attacks, not worry about your health that much, and get consistent topples and just win by attacking the back of a monster with a hit stun of 10 to severing. It takes away the essence of Monster Hunter, in my opinion, because the game is all about difficulty ramp and also with crafting. So I just dislike the idea that this is how we're going to proceed from now on. Because at least with World, I'm pretty sure that World had some kind of warning. Because I remember I saw that I actually started World with the Defender gear, but after 2 or 3 quests, I was like, okay, this is ridiculous. And I'm pretty sure I saw a warning within the game. Maybe I'm wrong. But I tested the gear and I remember, oh, so that's why they had this warning, which was like, well, this gear is really powerful or something like that. And after 2 quests, I was like, okay, I'm not using this anymore, and I never touched it again. With Rise, I don't recall seeing any kind of warning. I think this kind of gear would be fine because it would be good for the older players that want to do something with a new save file, and the newer players who really want to get into the game and they're eager to actually learn how to play the game will know that this gear is too powerful. Because honestly, if you're a new player and you see the numbers, they're like, okay, I'm gonna use this. Although I also think just the presence of it is harmful, because if I'm a newer player, I'm getting my ass kicked by, I don't know, a Barrios or something. I'm like, fuck this guy. I go equip the gear, kill him in 6 minutes, and then I keep using it because it's so good and it felt so good destroying that monster. So although I still think its presence in general is bad, I also think that, I mean, it's a good idea, but it's just, it doesn't work like that. And I honestly think they're gonna upgrade the Defender gear. I don't know, right now we're at version 3.9. Sunbreak is summer, probably end of summer. I feel like there's gonna be a 4.0, and they're gonna upgrade the Defender gear for high rank. Besides, apparently they had a tweet that said they were putting the finishing touches in the game in Sunbreak. So maybe they'll have time to give us something for base Rise. That would be awesome. But apparently Variants got confirmed for Sunbreak or something. Oh, and there's a new Wyvern riding shit, but I don't buy that. I think it's still gonna be a thing. I don't think we can disable a mechanic just by going to the options. But oh well. I think that's about it. Defender gear overall, just gonna sum it up. I like the idea of the concept, helps older players, although there's not much of a reason to create a new save file, but for the ones that are valid, it's a good idea. Like with me, I had an easier time learning Insectglaive with Defender gear. I didn't have to worry about crafting as much. Well, now I'm in high rank, so I'm crafting as normal, but for low rank I sped through it quite a bit. I already knew what the game was, so I was just focusing on combat. But it's good in those perspectives, but I think I'd rather sacrifice the older players for the newer players. In this circumstance, I would. I do think the game is appealing a bit too much, or the franchise is appealing a bit too much to newer players, but in this circumstance, I'd put newer players above. I think it's harmful to them, and if you're an older player that knows how to play the game, even if you're learning a weapon, you'll make do. You'll craft whatever and you'll make do just fine. So I think that's about it. The gear is broken. It's not world broken, but it's still broken, and it fails to teach you a lot of concepts about the game and how to play the game and how to maneuver, how to navigate the game in general. And I think that's harmful, and I hope in the future it doesn't exist anymore. I hope this is just a 5th gen thing. I hope in Monster Hunter 6 they stop this. They probably won't, but you know, I don't know, it's just what newer players are playing now anyway. I think most people who wanted the game already bought it, so they could have at least dropped this for PC, but oh well, that's the way it is. But anyway, yeah, that's it. Now it's serious. That's it. I don't have much else to say, and I guess I'll catch you next time. We still need to fight the newer monsters. I'm itching to fight those, but probably gonna record a couple in the weekend. then I'll probably finish them next week. So we shall see. But yeah, the Fender gear, it's broken. Just erase it from the planet. Peace.